It's, it's an honor
Hamdulillah.
and my pleasure, a great pleasure to stand in front of you to give this message. Before I begin though, Priest Rakim just spoke about pork and how some of the pork inside our food. And it just reminded me, even that teaching about the pork was copied from our ancestors, because in the coffin text 157, written by our ancestors in ancient Kim, it says the spell for knowing the soul of P, and with this descendant book of the dead, provide a theological explanation for the Egyptian pork taboo. So even our ancestors were the one that taught, and they were the first one who taught about pork as a taboo. They never eat pork.
Okay.
And when you read Coffin text 157, it will tell you how, how Horus, his eye was injured, and the god taught was the one that healed him and put the evil spirit into the pork. Even that was copied from our ancestors. So priest taught. It just came to me. So again, it's my honor and great pleasure to stand before you, guards and goddesses, as a Fahami priest in training. This lesson I'm going to share, I did not write it. It was written by a very great student and great teacher of mine and ours of a Fahami society by the name of High Priest Peter Ra.
Okay.
May he live and enjoy and peace forever like Ra, like the sun. He was my initiator into Fahami science, into Fahami society and brotherhood many years ago. So this lecture I'm going to give in his honor and his memory, and his master teacher and great mastermind by the name of Paul Nathaniel Johnson, the Fahami prophet, and mastermind. So I'm a little nervous, but
Just take your time.
I just did that. So I just be patient with me.
Continue.
Okay.
Yes.
You will.
The title of this lecture is called Humankind Origins and Theory, and was published by the High Priest Peter Ra in the book titled The Need for Culture. Okay. This lecture is based on an essay written by the Fahami culture prophet entitled Culture Lesson Number 1. The essay was originally published as a 4-page pamphlet by the Fahami Ra Rasul in the year 1938. Distributions of essays and information using pamphlets was a favorite method used by the Fahami prophet to communicate his messages to the general public and his far-flung followers of African and African Americans, that the time had come for the black man to lift himself from the heels of his oppressors or his lower self and to begin to learn and understand the purpose of a culture of his own. 6 points, I'm going to give the 6 points that the Holy Fahami Ra Rasul tried to communicate with us. Number 1, the Holy Fahami Ra Rasul was communicating to the masses that the time had arrived for the black race to employ a culture that addressed his unique and specific need. Number 2, the Fahami prophet taught that the time had come for the black race to develop a culture that explained the origins of his own race so that he could be freed from the cultural doctrines of other nations and the limitation and restriction they placed upon us. Number 3, he taught that it is time for the development of a culture that supports the black race's natural and unique way of seeing and understanding the world. This new culture should allow him to then give accurate expression to things as he sees them and understands them. Number 4, the time had come for the establishment of a process or method that would consistently develop and support the latent talents and abilities of the black race as we began to emerge in this new era or new age, which is the Aquarius age. Number 5, he taught, the Holy Fahami taught, that the time had come for the re-establishment of a process and means of enlisting the help and assistance of those noble black souls, which are our noble ancestors that preceded our existence on this earth. Last one, number 6, the Holy Fahami taught that the time had come for the establishment of a means of reconnecting directly with an infinite source of power that is designed exclusively for use by the black race without the need for intermediaries from other races and cultures. Yes. For the 6 objectives just enumerated, the Fahami prophet provided inspired guidance to teach the black race how to achieve them. He distributed the information on this inspired guidance far and wide among the network of temples and missions he had established up to that date. His network of mission extended from St. Louis, Missouri, where he was headquartered, to Los Angeles, California, to Denver, Colorado, eastward to Huntsville, Kansas City, Gary, Indiana, Chicago, Illinois, Cleveland, Ohio, Detroit, Michigan, and on to Glasgow, New York, and other locations throughout the country. All across this country, the Holy Fahami prophet disclosed his revelations or inspired guidance to our people and laid the groundwork for the ability of the black race to tap into the vast pool of creative potentialities brought about by the revival of the spirit of our ancestors. Thus, ancestor worship became the cornerstone of the new Kamite culture he named Fahami. In 1938, when the Fahami prophet published and disclosed the revelation we are going to discuss here, he was already 18 years into his ministry of promoting the revival of the ancient Kushite, Kamite cultures and religions and the spirits of our ancestors. The prophet referred to these ancient cultures and religions as, quote, the ancient religion Islam, as it was taught and practiced by our noble ancestor Isis, Il, and Amun. Islam. When you combine Isis, Il, Amun, Islam. He explained that ancient Islam was the name of a religion and culture founded by our ancient, holy, noble ancestors and forebearers over 10,000 years before the Common Era. Throughout his ministry, the prophet called for black people everywhere to join him in the great revival of our long dormant cultures. Dormant, not dead.
Hamdu.
He sought to have black people everywhere promote the resurrection of the spirits of our holy and noble ancestors. He taught that the spirits of our race, our ancestors, are in a revival and are standing ready to come to our aid and assistance when we ask them to do so. They were standing ready in 1938 and they are still standing ready today, waiting for us to ask for assistance. The new culture taught by the prophet reveals some of the knowledge possessed by our ancient ancestors that is necessary and useful today. For example, the Holy Fahami taught that there are angels for every undertaking. The Holy Fahami taught and revealed that our ancestors founded all of the world's current religions, cultures, educational processes, inventive processes, etc. And at the same time, he demonstrated in his ministry what new knowledge, new information, new talents, new abilities it would be necessary for us to develop and master if we are to move our culture and our race continuously forward from the point in time, which is 1938, or from this point in time for that matter. His tenets, philosophies, revelations, prophecies, and themes were recorded in several compositions, lectures, essays, poems, songs, and of course the inspired Bible he wrote and left for the race, the Holy Fahami Gospel.
Hamdu.
Now, we're going to start to our current lecture, the origin of man, theories. The first topic addressed in this essay is the creation or the beginning of the human race. The starting point of culture for every race or nation is an understanding of their own genesis or beginning. Like all other cultures, the culture of black people must have a genesis, a scientific explanation of the origins of our race or nation. This explanation and genesis story must result in the strengthening of the individual and collective mind of the race. It must strengthen and develop the characteristics and trait for success that were given to the race at its creation. For the black race to find its own beginning on this planet, we must return to the site of the creative beginning of mankind itself, since we were the first people on this planet.
Goodbye.
To that end, the Holy Prophet shares with us the information given him by the angels and spirits of our noble ancestors, of our race, and he takes us to the original Africa or Ethiopia, the entire Torah zone, the place determined the geographical foundation and creative beginning of all mankind. The geographical location of the beginning of the creative genius of our race is the Torah zone that builds the earth. This is the original Africa, Kush, Kem, or any other of the ancient names of our birthplace. So in here, so this is what the Holy Fahami revealed. He said our creative beginning of our race is the Torah zone, which is the equator around the planet. Okay, and it's, I guess I'm gonna come to the lecture, it's 24,000 miles around the planet. This is where our beginning origin is.
네.
Okay, it's not only just, I guess, not one place, but throughout the whole earth, in that area. Let us take a look at the torrid zone that builds the earth. The Holy Family Prophet states in his essay that, and I quote, "The geographical foundation and creative beginning of all mankind is the torrid zone, the equator, that builds the earth." Let us take a look at what the Holy Family Prophet disclosed with these words. He reveals the fact that the geographical origination of mankind did not occur in a single location within or upon a specific continent. So, it did not, like what our other culture want to teach us, it did not just begin right here in Ethiopia or right here in Tanzania, you know. It just is throughout the entire earth, in that around the globe, the equator. Okay? He reveals the fact that the geographical origination of mankind did not occur in a single location within or upon a specific continent. He discloses that the creative beginning of all mankind took place in an area of the earth encompassing over 24,000 miles and in what would be called today many different countries and across several continents. This is a scientific explanation of the location of the creative beginning of man. Why is the torrid zone named by the Holy Fahmy Prophet as the location of the geographical and creative beginning of mankind? It is because the torrid zone is the only place on earth that hosts